Good morning, second graders. So yesterday you did an activity where you created a picture using shapes, and you used 5 triangles, 5 quadrilaterals, and 5 pentagons to create a picture. We are going to keep with that theme of shapes and pictures, but we're going to review our December calendar card so that you can see kind of quadrilaterals, not, and talk a little bit more about that. Then we're going to read a story called The Greedy Triangle, and then you are going to pick your favorite shape and create a picture, kind of like you did yesterday, but a little bit different. So here I have December's calendar cards, and I'm just going to go through them, and we're going to say quadrilateral, not quadrilateral. And remember, a quadrilateral has 4 sides. So lots of shapes can be quadrilaterals, even though they have a different name. So for example, a square is a quadrilateral, and a rectangle is a quadrilateral because they both have 4 sides. All right. So regular pentagon, not a quadrilateral. So I'm going to put it in a pile. Triangle, quadrilateral, not a quadrilateral, not. This just says quadrilateral. It has 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks kind of wonky, right? It doesn't look like a square. It doesn't look like a rectangle, but it has 4 sides. So if a shape has 4 sides, then it's a quadrilateral. Square, quadrilateral. Isosceles trapezoid, quadrilateral, because it has 4 sides. Triangle, 1, 2, 3, not a quadrilateral. Parallelogram, count the sides. Is it a quadrilateral or not? It's a quadrilateral. We're not going to do all these. We're just going to do a few more. Isosceles triangle, not a quadrilateral. Rectangle, quadrilateral. This is another one. It just says quadrilateral because it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides and 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. Remember, an angle is when 2 lines come together. The space between those lines make an angle. So if the lines are close together, it's called an acute angle because it's so cute. And if the lines are far apart, like this, it's called an obtuse angle. And when the lines make an L shape, that's called a right angle. So acute, right angle, obtuse. All right, we are going to get going with our book. I really like this book. As I'm reading it, I want you to think about what shape you like the most. I know what shape I like the most. What I feel like I can do the most with is really what it comes down to because I'm going to be doing a picture with it. So here we go. The Greedy Triangle. Do you know what it means to be greedy? It means that you're never satisfied and you want more, more, more. So you can use the word greedy in a few different ways. Maybe you always want more gifts or always want more to eat, but you can also be greedy with your time. So maybe you're in gym class and you are hogging the ball and you're not giving anyone else a turn. Well, that's being greedy with the ball, right? So the Greedy Triangle. What do you think? Let's make a prediction. What do you think this triangle wants more of? Why might it be greedy? Let's see. I also want you to pay attention to the pictures that the illustrator has drawn because this might give you a good idea about what you might want to draw using a shape. All right, here we go. Once there was a triangle that was, as most triangles are, always busy. The triangle spent its time holding up roofs, supporting bridges, making music in a symphony orchestra, catching the wind for sailboats, being slices of pie or halves of sandwiches, and much, much more. The triangle's favorite thing, however, was to slip into place when people put their hands on their hip. That way I can always hear the latest news, it said, which I can tell my friends. The triangle's friends liked hearing the news. So the triangle says that his favorite spot is when you put your hands on your hips in this spot right here. Can you put your hands on your hips and make a triangle? One day the triangle began to feel dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. So the triangle went to see the local shapeshifter. How may I help you? The shapeshifter asked the triangle. I think if I had just one more side and one more angle, said the triangle, my life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the triangle into a quadrilateral, a four-sided shape. I'm wondering if right now, if you can think of 3 different kinds of quadrilaterals. What quadrilaterals can you think of? I can think of a square. I can think of a rectangle. I can think of a trapezoid. Did you think of those? Did you think of ones that were not those 3? Life changed in a wonderful way. The quadrilateral was happy with all the new things it could do. The quadrilateral could be a baseball diamond, or first, second, or third base. It could take a position on a checkerboard or a chessboard. It could be a television screen, a computer screen, or a movie screen. It could frame windows or frame pictures, and much, much more. Do you see all the squares in this picture? So that's what I'm talking about. Think about what shape you might do. The quadrilateral's favorite thing, however, was to be the pages of a book. I learned so many interesting stories that way, it said, which I can tell my friends. The quadrilateral's friends liked hearing the stories. But one day, the quadrilateral began to feel dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. So the quadrilateral went back to the shapeshifter. How may I help you now? The shapeshifter asked the quadrilateral. Well, I think if I just had one more side and one more angle, said the quadrilateral, my life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the quadrilateral into a pentagon. Life changed in a wonderful way. The pentagon was happy with all the new things it could do. On a baseball diamond, the pentagon could be home plate. It could be a section of a soccer ball, or appear inside whenever someone drew a 5-pointed star. The pentagon's favorite thing, however, was to be the headquarters of the United States military near Washington, D.C. I hear all the top secrets that way, it said. It's too bad I can't tell them to my friends. The pentagon's friends couldn't help feeling left out. After a while, time seemed to pass slowly for the pentagon, and it became dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. So the pentagon went back to the shapeshifter. So, you're here again, the shapeshifter said to the pentagon. Now what would you like? I think if I just had one more side and one more angle, said the pentagon, my life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the pentagon into a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides, 6 angles. Life changed in a wonderful way. The hexagon was happy with all the new things it could do. The hexagon fit in as floor tiles in houses and patios, and fancy crackers at parties and picnics. It worked at the socket of certain bolts and the prongs of certain wrenches. The hexagon's favorite thing, however, was to be a cell in a beehive. I love watching the bees as they buzz in and out, it said. The hexagon spent so much time in the beehive, it was too busy to talk to its friends. The friends missed the hexagon and couldn't help feeling ignored. Again and again and again, the shape became restless, dissatisfied, and unhappy with its life. And again it returned to the shapeshifter for more sides and more angles. The shapeshifter agreed to turn it into shape after shape. A heptagon, an octagon, a nonagon, a decagon, and on and on. Finally, the shape had many, many sides and many, many angles. Its sides were so small that it had trouble keeping its balance. Its friends couldn't tell which side it was on and began to avoid the shape. One day, when the shape was going down a hill, it began to roll. Faster and faster it went, screeching around corners, crashing into fences and trees, colliding with bicycles and terrifying walkers. At last, the shape came to a stop. It felt tired and dizzy, lonely and sad. I guess having more sides and more angles isn't all it's cracked up to be. Enough, thought the shape. I don't know which side is up. I can't keep my balance. My friends don't want me around. The shape could no longer remember why it had been so unhappy as a triangle. Very carefully, it made its way back to the shapeshifter. Aren't you happy yet? The shapeshifter asked. I want to be a triangle again, said the shape. I'm not surprised, said the shapeshifter. Poof. The shapeshifter turned the shape back into a triangle. The triangle was delighted to have its old shape back again, and kept itself very busy. Once again, it held up roofs, supported bridges, made music in a symphony orchestra, caught the wind for sailboats, became slices of pie and halves of sandwiches, and much, much more. Still, the triangle's favorite thing was to slip into place when people put their hands on their hips. That way, I always hear the latest news, it said, which I can tell my friends. And its friends liked hearing the news and were glad the triangle was back in shape again. The end. So what I want you to do is I want you to make your own scene, just like the illustrator in this book did. So I'm going to choose a triangle, and I'm going to do my picture, and I will post it on our Google slide that you'll be able to see. But you can choose quadrilateral. So quadrilaterals give you several shapes to choose from, right? Squares, rectangles, trapezoids, rhombuses, parallelograms. But I'm just going to do triangles on mine. Now, I don't mean that you can't have any other shapes. So for example, here's a page with triangles. I see shapes that aren't triangles, but I see mostly triangles, all sorts of sandwiches and crackers and pie and houses. So I don't want you just to draw triangles. I want you to create a scene. Okay, so maybe it's an underwater scene, or maybe it's a space scene, or maybe it's a picnic. But I want you to turn those real life triangles into something. Now, the easiest way to do that is going to be able to get a piece of paper and a ruler and a pencil. The ruler is going to help you make nice straight lines, and the pencil is going to be able to have you erase if you make a mistake. Now, I want you to use the whole piece of paper, okay? I don't want you to just make two little triangles. I want it to be a scene. So a scene is a whole page. I'll show you again in this book. So there's a river and a picnic and a bridge and like a little island, houses. There's a lot going on. So start thinking about what you want to do, all right? And then on the back of your paper, after you've done your best work with the ruler and you've made your scene and you've turned the shape into something else, like a piece of pizza, or maybe you have a space scene and there's a rocket ship and all the continents on the planet are different triangle shapes. Be really creative with it. Color it. I would like for you to use crayon if you're going to color it so it doesn't bleed through. And then on the back, answer some questions about it. So whatever shape you decide to use, or if there's more than one kind of shape, how many of each shape did you use? So if you did triangles, how many triangles can you find in your picture? How many quadrilaterals? How many pentagons? All right, so that is your activity for today. And then you will also see on the slide below that there's a choice board. Now, choice is the most important word. You don't have to do any of it. It's just there in case you have some extra time in math. If you are a math lover and want to do some more math things, it's there. But once you finish this, then you can be done with math if you want to be. All right, good luck. Send me a picture of the landscape of shapes you come up with. I'm excited to see them.